Welcome to Hashtime with Navguzi Chwanuka. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I'm your host, Navguzi Chwanuka, and I cannot wait to engage with you in the various conversations.
Happy 2024. Welcome to the new year. Are you still holding on to the new year, new me slogan? I don't think I've seen that a lot this year. But how is your 2024 so far? Is it too soon for me to ask? Because we just left January. And I think some of us are still recovering, although there are others that had to cater for the kids' tuition. So I don't know, it could be too soon for me to ask how 2024 is for you so far. So to hell with the questions. Welcome to season 5. The sound of this really makes me giddy, and for some reason I feel like I should make this season intro short and sweet. I checked the listed episodes topics actually in season 4, and I realized that I did not tackle 3 major topics. I don't know if I should call them major, but at the beginning of last year I felt like these are things that I really need to talk about, and then I don't know what happened. Feels like the year just ran by me and we did not have a chance to explore these conversations. So I want to start with those 3 summarized topics and then also touch a bit on why your new year, new me goals might not work. So for topic number 1, let us talk about the layers of healing. Like I said, this is going to be summarized. If you want it to be expounded on, you could drop me a message in the listeners' letters via the listeners' letters link, and you never know. It's not that you never know, but if you need it, please let me know. So this very topic, why I found it important is because oftentimes we talk about healing, and I feel like we oversimplify the topic where we're like, yeah, heal, guys, heal. It's something so common. I'm sure if you just put or searched heal in social media, you will see millions of posts that come under that search. Now, I do not know if this is something that you do, but if you're anything like me, I sometimes like to peel off scabs to be sure that a wound has indeed healed. And I've noticed many times that this comes with a fresh bleeding. When we talk about healing, when we talk about the value, necessity, or relevance of healing, we never really get to touch the bits of how messy healing can be. To have to really look at yourself in the mirror and even finding out that there are moments in which you are one of the people who hurt you. That journey is messy. We talk about its worthiness, but it's messy. And I say this because of so there's some 3 prompts that I landed on the internet. That must have been 2018 when I landed on Lisa Nichols, and she shared the 3 prompts I think that helped her move forward, or did she come up with these a little later? But I think she used them in her healing journey. And the very first prompt was, I love you because. And now with that, I was required to list 7 reasons why I love myself. So it could be like, I love you because you are my best friend. I love you because you show up every day for yourself. I love you because you have learned how to advocate for yourself. I love you because, see that? I was supposed to do that 7 times, but at that time, I didn't even know why I had to love myself. Like, that's a thing? I was always left blank. I stuttered. I was looking for reasons why I loved myself, and I couldn't find them. It felt alien-like, like, love yourself? Someone else should love you. You see that? I was always waiting for someone to tell me that they love me, and so that I can also tell them that I love them back. But there were so many times that people asked me why I loved the person I was dating, and I had no answer. I just kept saying, I just love the person. It confused me when someone asked me why I loved the person. I just felt like I just love the person. Even when they broke me, I'll just be like, I just love the person. There are many times when I talk about how messy that relationship was, how emotionally abusive this guy was. But when I start to roll back in those days, I realize that I had a hand in this mess because I had no boundaries. I did not even know. I did not know my worth. See that? I did not know what I deserve. So, this prompt was just confusing. I was like, I love myself because what? Like, I looked at myself, I was like, I love myself because what? Beautiful? What do I say? But it's something that I kept doing and practicing and really looking at myself in the mirror, because this is an exercise that you do in the mirror. I was looking at myself like, I love myself. Why? Stay with me. We are talking about the 3 prompts that got me to my healing. Now, the second prompt was, I forgive you for. This prompt was the worst. It's the worst amongst the 3. I found the many ways I was my own enemy. This prompt destroyed me to pieces. It was really easy for me to blame people for where they go wrong, but when it really got to me and look at myself in the mirror, hold myself accountable. That one I did not want. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. You see how it's easy for us to what is the thing that the Bible usually says? It is easier for us to look at the speck in someone's eye and not the log in our eyes. That's the thing that was happening in this prompt. The prompt always made me avoid looking at myself. Like I told you, that this 3-part exercise is done in front of the mirror, but every time I go to the specific prompt, I just looked over my head like, this one, I am not. There's no way I can look at my enemy because I'm very angry with this person. I used to cry. I really wanted to look at myself, but I could not. I always made sure that I keep the focus on the wall behind me. I couldn't. I was so embarrassed of myself. Like, I was in shock. I was crying victim. Kumbe, I had a hand in my mess. Like, But I cried. I really, I didn't like this prompt. I just did not like this. When I realized that while some people were bad to me, and I was also bad to myself, so who is my friend? I cannot even be my own friend. I had to forgive myself for breaking away from my values. When I was heartbroken, I had to sit myself and ask myself, okay, all these values are for what? For me to get broken? Why do I still have to get attached to them? Why don't I just go haywire? And I did, but that was not my personality, and that no. I forgive you for this prompt. The fact that I did not even have boundaries for myself, and I was just waiting for someone to. How does that even work? That's a lot of responsibility put on someone. You don't know how to love yourself and you expect the other person to love you? The heck? I didn't know this. Now the third and last prompt is, I am proud that this one was a soft landing. Very soft, because at least I had achievements that I was aware of, and I listed them with tears still rolling and kind of drying up. At least I had something to smile about. I realized, for all these prompts, you have to list the 7 things. Let me say, like I mentioned, for the part of I love you, even for forgiveness, I forgive you for this, I forgive you for this, I forgive you for staying in a relationship that you well knew was abusive, but you kept saying that you love the person. You are who's Jesus, my dear? Who's Savior? Who sent you to save the world? So for every prompt, you list 7 things, and for this last prompt, just gave me a soft landing. I could name the things. I don't remember the achievements I had in 2018, but at least I had graduated from the university. I had done my postgraduate diploma in legal practice. I had gotten a job at that time. And I think I was proud of my relationship with my mother. I don't remember the 7 things that I was proud of, but they really made me feel good. And I feel like this prompt really cements the relevance of gratitude and how helpful the gratitude jar, keeping a gratitude jar or journal, can be a great source of positivity in your life. I've had an experience in this. I like coming here to share the things that have worked for me, because I've been there, and I would love for people to try them out. So if you get yourself, now I'm asking you, I'm not saying if you get yourself a journal that you can note down the things you're grateful for, or a jar, get sticky notepads. Are they not sticky notes? Yes, get sticky notes, write the things that you're proud of, just jot down those moments and keep them in a jar. On days when you feel like life is not just moving forward, pick out that jar. Trust me, by the time you get done, you'll be ready to move on to the next stage in your life. I did these prompts for like 6 months until I come to peace with myself. Peace-ish with myself. Like, I was no longer struggling as much as I was before doing the exercises. And I learned that when Lisa was sharing her story, I found healing. I can't say that I found healing immediately, but it gave me a reason to seek my own healing. And it was not healing at the time, because I don't think I even understood those things. I wasn't seeing much of such wording in my space. My social media was not also that active, so I can't really say it as healing. But if you're still the kind of person asking why I have the podcast, bro, I am paying it forward. Hadn't it been for me to land on this story on the internet, hadn't it been for me to land on Lisa Nichols sharing her experience, Bambi, I don't know where I would have been. I don't know where I would have been. I really do not know where I would have been had I not found this chick's story. Her interview, I don't know if there's a way how people can tag Lisa Nichols to this podcast, because I don't even know how many times I've mentioned her, but hey, she's the reason why I learned how to pick my pieces. I would love for you to adopt these 3 prompts. State the 7 reasons why you love yourself, and let this be as genuine as it can be without something that would communicate vanity. State the 7 reasons why you are proud of yourself. This boosts your courage to move forward. State the 7 reasons why you forgive yourself. Be as genuine as you can be, because this is one of the ways you can even free yourself from the destructive mechanisms. In Catholicism, we have the act of contrition, where you promise never to wrong God again. Adopt this attitude for yourself as well. It is a lifesaver. It is a peaceful thing to be kind to yourself. But remember, do it in the first order that I listed it. 7 reasons why you love yourself, 7 reasons why you forgive yourself, and 7 reasons why you are proud of yourself. Now let's jump to topic number 2. Remember, I talked about the 3 major topics that I felt like we left in season 4 but are very important. So we're now going to topic number 2. The need for us to redefine self-love. At the beginning of last year, I got this topic as one of the most important conversations, because I felt like in many cases we crouch onto destructive mechanisms and brand them as self-love. I had conversations on the podcast that have left me fighting back my tears, but the ones on alcohol and drug dependence or abuse have really left me with a heavy heart. And then there is me, who is working around the different ways of saving myself from coping with food whenever I'm stressed. Now, this is me trying to list some of the ways we cope with stressful events in manners that distract our functionality. I want to talk about the part of destructive mechanisms. I've remembered that last year a follower on Facebook asked me to explain what destructive mechanisms are, and I promised to write about it, but I forgot. So Black Moss or Cuckoo, I hope he was the one who asked. If you're listening in, I'll define destructive mechanisms as harmful patterns of behavior or coping strategies that initially seem helpful but lead to negative consequences, hindering overall well-being and personal growth. We listed some of these in May 2022, but some of these include alcoholism, emotional eating, embarrassingly putting up my hand, drug dependency, smoking, sex. Yes, some people are sex addicts. So when you're talking about self-love, I know that in Uganda we have adopted the slogan "Paka kuwulira bubi," which would loosely be translated for the 9 Ugandans that to enjoy until you feel bad. But have you thought about the implications of depending on alcohol? Okay, I don't have to laugh at this. It just doesn't sound right. Like in English, it doesn't sound as funny as it does in Luganda. But if you really think about the implications of depending on alcohol, drugs, emotional eating, or you're jumping from sexual organ to another, This pakakuwulira bubi, I'm sure you have not given up on life so much that you cease to care about how much you'll suffer in the end. It is a beautiful thing to distract yourself. The distracting this bit is with an I. But in what sense are you doing it? And you don't even have to distract yourself. Can you adopt healthy coping mechanisms to help you move forward? That is the most important thing that you have to do for yourself. Self-love should look like a safe place for you, not a place of your escapism. Let it be a way that you are kind to yourself. I like the question that Victor Daniel asked on one of, did he ask a question or was it just a short pause? I think he was like, it's interesting how people are boasting about how much alcohol they are taking, yet this is me paraphrasing it because that's how I remember it, but he seems to be pointing at how we are boasting about things that are distracting our bodies, like the overconsumption of alcohol. You see people making posts of, hey, how many beers can you take? And someone is like, yeah, I can sit on a crate. Have you prepared money for your kidney transplant? Is it kidney or liver? You just want to bother us in future. Please, I beg. But okay, I need to stop laughing. I need to stop laughing. Guys, no. 2024, we need to change. We need to redefine self-love. It should be things that help us move forward in life, not backwards. And you also don't bother us with things that you should have avoided. Poor sexual hygiene. People are jumping from one person to another. Guys. Nganye. No, guys. No, we need to do better, to be honest. We really need to do better. And then, topic number 3. Empathy should include you. I think I like how these 3 topics are closely related. Perhaps it's just my interest in certain topics, but yes, empathy that does not include you is not empathy. This is something I landed on one of the internet interviews, but let me tell you something. I had so many days I played Jesus, and this is not even from the church teachings, but when I was 11, I joined the Xaverian movement that dictated that amongst the people to love or care about, you had to be at the bottom of the list. I think the things that they listed were in the order of church, community, and then you. Was it God, community, and then you? Something like that. You were at the bottom list. So whatever else that had to come after the 2, it should replace you, and you then just keep going down in the ranks. And I took that as the Holy Gospel. But tell me about pouring from an empty cup and I'll direct you straight to that teaching, because how are you telling me that I can love someone without knowing how to love myself? Do you know how abusive that relationship or that environment can be? You don't know how to love yourself, but you're demanding people to love you. How does it even work? I mean, even when you're in the aeroplane and they're telling you about if you have a child and there is an emergency and the masks are let loose, the first person that is supposed to have a mask is you, the mother, because that way you will be able to help your child. You see that? Or you as a parent with a child, you have to first mask yourself and then mask the child, because that way you can be fully functional to help the other person at don't know who came up with these teachings. I don't know who started this Saxaverian movement, man. And I have a feeling that even when I knew that I had forgotten some topics, this one I had not listed it, but I just kept it in my head. But over the weekend, I was in someone's shop and she said that for the many people that she has lent money to, they never return it. And then she added that it is because of her empathy for them that she keeps them close without bothering them about returning the money. I leaned in towards her and told her that empathy should include her. And she said that empathy should not be about her, but other people. Granted. Yeah. Very, very valid. But to what extent? Should it be to the point of you losing money that you've worked day and night for? That's just kept quiet. And I've learned over time that the love of myself made it easier for me to love other people. Like, there is a different way that I got to love people, and I feel it. Like, it is non-performative of me waiting for them to return something or waiting for them to deplete me to zero. It's just a healthy place that I've come to. Empathy also changed that beat for me. Like, for the moments that I was empathetic with myself, I realized that I had more room for people to be who they are. And I also learned that this thing of emulating Jesus is backbreaking. I learned that however much I try to emulate this divine Son of God, I do not have the divinity to allow those people to nail me on the cross for someone else's sins. I do not have that one. I don't. I just deny you. I'm like, I don't know this person, because I do not have that level of empathy. That Jesus way, I'll say it again, it is backbreaking and can quickly turn into a nasty mental or emotional breakdown. Please remember to extend empathy to yourself. It will become more genuine, easier, and healthier for you to love the people around you. Try it and tell me about it. Tell me how it's going. And now to the very, very, very last topic. This should have come in the reshared top 10 episodes, but I struggle with this episode one. I have always feared to showcase episode 1 because I struggled recording that first episode because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. There were so many voices in my head asking me to stop talking to myself. And yet here I am now talking to myself. But the gist of that episode, if you want to listen to it, it's available on the podcast. You can scroll down to the very first episode and you listen to it. But if you do not have energy to do it, the gist of it is the perfect way that you have to draw out your New Year resolutions. And because we are still in the genesis of 2024, I think it is important for us to have this conversation as well. And the things that would really make sense of your resolutions, or the things, if they're lacking on your New Year resolutions, just know you're wasting your time with making that list. I like the phrase that I came up with in episode 1. I was like, commit to commitment. Commit to commitment. And I was feeling like a philosopher. But seeing how far I've grown in this podcasting industry, I swear, I am glad I committed to this commitment. Okay, I did not have podcasting goals. I don't want to make it sound like that because I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. But naturally, I'm the kind of person who goes all in when it comes to doing something. Commitment just saves me from any kind of regret. Like, I do not want to find myself in a moment of regret that I did not do enough or I did not do my best. It's one of those things I feel the most like, I don't like that thing. I don't like being in that state of, I wish I did this. No. I want to go all in and feel like, okay, I've gotten to the very best at this very moment. So if you have not added commitment to your list of goals, friend, I'm happy to be the bearer of bad news. You are not going to achieve any of those goals. I'm still swearing again. You will not. I know you're not seeing me, but I'm still swearing. The second and most important reason you will not achieve your New Year resolutions is the lack of emotional awareness stroke intelligence. What this emotional intelligence really does for you is it will keep you on your top game. How you handle stress, how you lead your team, how you're able to build social relationships, how you self-regulate and build your self-awareness is directly linked to your success. If you're the kind of person who is easily toppled flat whenever life throws anything at you, I need you to flex your resilience muscle this year. I need us to move forward with confidence, our heads high. Yeah. So where do we go from here? Subscribe to Hashtime with Nabuguzi Chwanuka in any podcast platform of your choice and stay tuned.